Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. Your host, Catherine Jones of This Needs to Be Read. Now, I love sharing authors with you. That's why we have this segment, This Needs to Be Read. But today I'm going to advise you strongly to take your pen and pencil out. Summer is over. It's time to get the kids back in school and get ourselves back out of vacation mode. And no matter what our financial situation is, we all have to be a good manager of it. So today I have a special guest that's going to come. He's the author of the I Will Teach You to Be Rich series, and today we're going to be introducing his journal. Mr. Ramit Sethi will be joining us, and I have a question for him as soon as he gets in here. So let's welcome him in to the conversation. Welcome, Ramit. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being a guest here. Now, when I first saw the title, I Will Teach You to Be Rich, over my 13 years as an entrepreneur and doing podcasting, I began with Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, and I was teased by some of my friends, well, are you rich yet, after reading the book? So I want to start with psychology, the mindset around what does rich look like, because I realize that you do talk about what rich looks like. But before we go to that question, Ramit, let me ask you, because you are a financial expert, whenever you're advising someone to be a better steward over the resources that they have, do you ever find that there are just jobs that no matter what advice you give, that job, that source of getting money is not the best for this person to achieve what they want?
Definitely. I mean, there are some jobs where 99% of people are going to have a bad experience. In fact, if you think about multi-level marketing, you know, every one of us knows somebody who's gotten involved in an MLM. Mm-hmm. Those are terrible. They are not a good place to spend your time and money. So I will try as gently as I can to urge people to look at a different opportunity. But there are some jobs and industries that are simply not good. And in fact, they are likely going out of business. And, you know, at a certain point, people make their own decisions, but there are clear clues for certain industries.
Well, thank you for giving me one example. The other that popped into my head, and I've heard, is just in the water cooler talk. A lot of, when I started doing This Needs to Be Said radio, it was a lot of, you know, I'm getting advice from my friends because, you know, they're sharing their experience, which is not bad, but that's not what I should base my life on. But think about it. Most people do. My friend, my sister, my mother-in-law went through it, and so they tell me about it. And what kind of, you know, causes a little friction is that some of what they said was good, and it could be applied to you, but
yes.
You don't know which parts not to without having someone who has an aerial view of an industry to say, going into fast food just isn't going to take you where you want to go unless you're purposefully going in to be management. But then do you want the demands of management, shift leader, or general management in fast food? And it's been argued that a job is a job. And sometimes, you know, that isn't necessarily better than zero, in my opinion. So I want to talk a little bit about the psychology around getting us thinking of how to move myself into my version of rich. And you talk a bit about this in what you teach about a person's idea of what rich is. So I'm going to shut up and let you talk. Just wanted to let you know I have read a little.
Hey, I appreciate that. That is a gift to any author that you've even picked up the book, and to have you have read it, oh, what a gift. Well, I'll tell you what, when we think about the word rich, I think so many of us think of this old Richie Rich idea of being chauffeured around and wearing a fur coat and going to the country club. That's not rich. That is what Hollywood told us. So rich to us can be traveling 3 times a year or 3 months a year. Rich could be buying a $1,000 coat if you want. Rich could be as simple as picking up your children from school every afternoon and having the flexibility to do that. You decide what your rich life is, nobody else.
And something I was thinking of, and the reason I also wanted to go on use psychology first, the way you think about what you want for your life. I think that we think rich is already pinned, and it's a goal someone else set that we have to reach. It's not one that we set. And changing our mind about a thing, I was talking with someone about buying local, whatever product it is. Do business with someone that has a small business near your home. But a lot of us will drive past that small business owner because we feel like we're going to get a better price across town at this other place, and not considering I used gas to get there. So I've used resources to get there. So what if that amount of money in gas that I used, I would have just put it into the product of, the item I'm trying to save money on. So it's that psychology of really thinking, why do I think that is saving money? And some of the ways, and I tell my husband all the time, every time I hear, you can save money on this, I said, no, they're saying you are not spending. So I'm not saving because that money doesn't magically appear because I didn't spend it. It means it cost you $200 instead of $300. You didn't spend $100, So the thought behind how you arrive at your happiness, at your version of rich. And right now I am a new mom of a 10-year-old. I'm a stepmom, a bonus mom. And so this year what's new is, all of us get in the car and go take them to school and, pick them up. And that is a rich feeling. And when you wrote that, when I read that, what you wrote, and now you're repeating it, I was like, yes, that's the ticket. Because before I got married, I was a single mom. And, of course, being a single mom, the idea that you're going to be busy all the time, too busy for your children, too busy for life, it is a reality. But I started a business with my third son, and I was able to see him go to school and come home every day. And one day he stopped at the door, and he was maybe 9 or 10 years old, and he said, I really like that. I really like that you're home when I leave and when I come home. And he wasn't born in the 50s. He doesn't know about, father knows best. He doesn't know about a mom should be at home kind of idea. But he expressed that he really liked that. So that was a gift to him and one to me as well, that I can do my business, make money for my family, and be there for them. So that doesn't come from, getting out of high school and they give you this program that you follow. You have to design that. So the way you think about life definitely has a big impact on how you view. A lot of people probably already rich. Would you say they are?
I completely agree. A lot of people already are rich, but very few people will admit it. I have a podcast. I speak to people who have $800,000 in debt. I speak to people who have $13 million in net worth. I recently spoke to a couple. They have $12 million. And I said, how would you describe yourself financially? And she said, upper middle class. I said, listen, let's take away the word upper and let's take away the phrase middle class. You're none of those. You are wealthy, absolutely wealthy. So even the rich or the ultra rich will not say that they are rich. Why? Because in this country, the word rich, we are allergic to it. And why are we allergic to it? Because we think rich is being chauffeured around and being served under those silver platters where some butler has to take it off. Wrong. Rich can be wearing a T-shirt, but rich can be spending time with your family, being home for your son. That can be rich. Now, of course, what I'm here to talk about is how we can use money to design and expand our rich life. Because it might take money to be able to be home or work from home. It might take money to be able to travel and certainly to create a magical experience, which I believe everybody should have at least once a year. So we want to talk about how money fits into your rich life. Otherwise, what are we doing all this work for?
Right. Well, I've asked lots of questions and talked a lot. I want you to share with us, with the This Needs to Be Read and This Needs to Be Said audience, I want you to share with us just what you said. Give us a little bit of that before you go. I got my pen and paper out. I'm ready to learn.
All right. I want to do a little exercise called Money Dials. Money Dials is about the things you love to spend money on. Now, you have to remember that in our culture, most of us feel guilty about money. We have things we love, but we're told don't spend on it. In fact, cut back on everything. Lattes, cheesecake, Diet Coke, cut back on everything. And maybe when you're 90, you'll be allowed to spend it. What a terrible life. That's not the kind of life I want to live. So I do a quick exercise for the listener. I'd like you to follow along for everybody. What is one thing you love spending on?
Food. I love to eat out.
Food.
Because to me, that's
Beautiful.
rich.
That's actually, love it. That's the most common answer, eating out. And that's the most common money dial. A money dial is a thing you love to spend on. The next most common is travel. The next is health and wellness. And then there's a whole bunch of other ones. So now my next question for you is, what would it look like and feel like if you could quadruple the amount you spend on eating out?
Oh, my gosh. I would eat at, like right now, Texas Roadhouse is my gift. So, like, if I could go to Ruth Chris or Sullivan Steakhouse, like I go to McDonald's, that's what it would look like to me. This is a McDonald's trip, you know?
Love it. And let me ask you another question. Who would you take with you?
My husband.
What if you could spend even more? Who else would you take with you?
Oh, gosh. Well, definitely would take my girlfriends. Got bunches of them. We'd all be around giggling, drinking, eating up everything. What does the chef have in the back, you know, for us to try? Like, it would be, because we love food and dessert, and I love dessert first, so I would definitely go there.
Okay. So for everybody listening, what you're hearing, first of all, I can hear the smile in your face. I love it. And a money dial is called that because you can turn that dial up, like a stereo dial. And what I do with this exercise is I want to show people what you love spending on, and I want to show you that you can actually spend more on it, because you can spend extravagantly on the things you love as long as you cut costs mercilessly on the things you don't.
Sound good to me. I don't want them on my list anyway. They are necessary evils. Yeah, I'm following you.
Isn't it funny? Isn't it funny that every time people talk about money, they kind of stiffen up, like someone's about to come in wearing a suit, doesn't even fit right, and tell them, you got to stop spending on eating out, on travel, on this, on that. Stop. That's not my philosophy. It's not called I Will Teach You to Stop Doing Everything You Love. It's called I Will Teach You to Be Rich, the journal. So the journal helps you articulate what you love, and then we can show you how to take your money and spend more on those things.
I love that. Ramit, I'm going to have to invite you back to This Needs to Be Read so we can talk some more. But I know that you're taking your journal on tour right now, so let my audience know, the This Needs to Be Said audience know, where you would like for them to pick up a copy of your journal, and even listening to your podcast. How do they connect with you outside of here?
You can find my journal at any bookstore, online, independent bookstores, anywhere. And you can find me on social media. I'm at Ramit, R-A-M-I-T. Just search for I Will Teach You to Be Rich, and you'll find my website and my brand new podcast where I talk to couples about their real money situations.
Congratulations on your podcast. Congratulations on this journal, and I hope that you come back as a guest. Thank you.
Thank you. I would love to.
Thank you for tuning in to This Needs to Be Said. I hope you've gained something from what has been shared. Send me your comments and show ideas through the website at TNTBSmedia.com. I'd love to hear from you.